Alright, so now we have everything in our game the way we want it, and so we're going to go over how to create our build for our game. So once we have everything the way we want in our game, let's go to File, Build Settings. Now in our build settings, we need to add our scenes in our build right here. So we can go ahead and select Add Current, and this will add the current scene that we're currently in to our scene build right here. And we can go ahead and select our other two scenes and just drag them and drop them in here. Now the order of these scenes is important because the way that they're stacked right here is how they will play in our game. So right now we have Unity Concepts 3 at the very top, and if we want Unity Concepts 1 to be our starting off scene, you want to make sure that this is at the top. So right now we have Unity Concepts 3 playing first, and then Unity Concepts 1 playing second. So let's go ahead and move this up, and same thing with number 2. Now they're in order, so when we start our game, it's going to start off in the very first Unity Concepts. Alright, so now that we have our scenes set up, let's go ahead and take a look at our player settings. So we have different platforms here. We have the web player, we have PC, Mac, and Linux, iOS, Android, Google Native Client, and our consoles. Now the consoles require a developer kit in order to get a license for Unity to build games for these consoles. But we're going to take a look at the other platforms. Let's take a look at the PC, Mac, and Linux platform first. So we have the target platform right here, and we can select Mac OS X or Windows or even Linux. And obviously you can change the architecture as well. But I'm going to go ahead and select Mac. And let's take a look at the player settings. So click this, and in the inspector panel we have our player settings. And you can change the company name to whatever you want. The product name will automatically default to the very first scene in your scene build here, but you can change this to whatever you want as well. Then we have our default icon and default cursor that we can use. So let's take a look at the per platform settings. So if we select the first one here, this is for our web player. Now we have different resolutions, and we have a web player template that we can use as well. So take a look at the different settings. The web player doesn't have a whole lot of settings in here, but if we go down to the PC, Mac, and Linux, you can see we can change the different resolutions. We can change the standalone player options. We can also change the icons in here. We have 1024 by 1024 all the way down to 16 by 16. We have our splash image. And then we have the other settings here. Dynamic batching is only available for Pro, but you can change just about everything else in here. Then finally we have our iOS. You can change the default orientation from portrait to landscape to auto rotation and so on and so forth. And we can also change the icons. You can select override for iPhone. And we have different icon sizes as well. Same thing with the splash image and the other settings as well. Then we have Android right next to that, same thing. Then we have the Google Native Client. We have the resolutions here as well, the icons, the splash image, and the other settings. Alright, so we're going to be developing for the PC, Mac, and Linux standalone, and you want to make sure that you have this little icon next to the platform that you want to develop for. So if you select, say, the web player, and you want to develop for the web player, you want to make sure that you click switch platform. And when you do that, you can see that the little icon moves up to that. So I'm going to go ahead and select the PC and switch platform. Alright, so once you have everything the way you want it, go ahead and click build and run. You can also select build if you just want to create a simple build and play it later, but we want to play it now, so let's go ahead and create build and run. I'm just going to click save and go ahead and replace the one I created before. Alright, and once you do that, you get this little dialog box here. You can select the screen resolution that you want, and you can select the graphics quality. And if you click input, this basically gives you your keyboard inputs for your game. Alright, so once you've done selecting all your options here, go ahead and hit play. And you can see we get the splash screen right here. This is the splash screen that we can change. Then we have our game. Since we don't have anything in our game, this is pretty much all we get. But this is our standalone player, and you can adjust the different settings for your game in the build settings. So that is the basics of creating your build for your game and how to adjust the different settings per platform.